Hey Bill, Paul Condiff. Just wanted to show you, we keep all of our pattern pieces until the boat is out the door. And at that point, it becomes campfire wood or wood for my fireplace, depending on the time of year. But so this is the bottom ring, face up. This is the bottom ring that was on the bottom of your engine box, and I wanted to show you that this piece right here is actually angled. It's not a straight cut that could be, well, and actually this one was fairly easy to cut in a table saw and just tilt the blade over. What happens up in the curve, however, is that we go from being almost straight up and down here in our cut at almost a 90 degree angle on the end to being quite a bevel in the center of this as you approach the center of the box. So the way we produced this was, of course, make a blank with the straight up and down cuts on the curves, 90 degree cuts. There was no reason to try to duplicate any of this angle, and then actually mount it to the box. And then as this was mounted to the box, I'll put it right side up now, then we would follow the angle of the box and plane this to get this to the right, to actually the same angle as the box, which also changes from almost straight up and down here to quite an angle at the back. So we did the frame, and of course we made the frame in two pieces because where the box was rickety was at this joint. There's if the box was sitting there, there's also a joint all the way up and down the box. So we eliminated this joint and eliminated that flexing by making that one piece, and we joined it together back here in the back, as I recall, so that we did away with this. So we reinforced this joint then by having this be one piece, and that's what took. We ended up burning a half a sheet of plywood. Of course, we nested it to burn the least amount of plywood that we could burn, but it still it took us a half a sheet to we ruined a half a sheet of the plywood once we cut it down to this width, which is about 20 inches. So the next thing that we did, of course, we did carefully remove the soundboard. We set this aside, of course, because we thought we would once we put we would take this back off, put clear penetrating epoxy sealer on, and then put it back on. Again, we didn't seal it ahead of time because we were going to be cutting these edges. So so we took it back off, sealed that, put that back on, and basically set the box aside because we thought we were going to be taking it right into upholstery. But I asked the fateful question if you wanted to have this soundboard replaced. So we did carefully remove it, and what you'll notice is that each one of these edges, not only do we have not a right angle cut here, we have an angle cut here, but we also have a beveled cut on these edges. So even the bottom edge has a bevel to it, and so these patterns, the top edge did not, but as you can see, we have a taper. I'll stand back. We have a taper down both sides, and then we have a bevel in addition to that on the sides. Of course, because we carefully took this out, we were able to use our angle finder, digital angle finder, to determine that angle that bevel needed to be. We also ended up with a clue about the bending right off the bat by removing them this way, and we found that the factory had scored these on the back. What we found, though, was that was for today's material. That was not an adequate number of score marks, and you can see they're very random. That was not an adequate number of score marks. Even though we knew we needed to score it, we ended up breaking our first attempt at the bend. And of course, we had to make this, no matter how careful we were. Obviously, you can see this came apart. So we put it back together. Well, we laid it together on the bench and then made a cardboard template, did our scoring, and put the first one in, and it was too sudden. The bending couldn't be done in one pass, as it turns out. We had to actually set it up with some weights on some strings and let that weight with the strings bend it over the weekend. You'll also notice here on these patterns as well, we're beveled again on the sides. We are beveled again ever so slightly on the bottom. And one other clue that we might have missed is that this material, your ventilation holes are at the bottom of the outside of your engine box. You'll find them down at this level, all right, down here. Had we not been careful about tearing this out, we might not have noticed that the ventilation holes on the inside of the box are at the top of the soundboard. And that makes perfect sense when you analyze it. That way, air coming into the box had to come on the back side of this soundboard, had to come up the back side of the soundboard and pass through these holes, my thumb sticking through, and that way no gasoline vapors, air and gasoline vapors, could be trapped inside the skin of the engine box. But I wanted to show you the importance of, we've learned this the hard way over the years, obviously, and I wanted to show you the importance of having the engine box, all the patterns, and the degree of difficulty as well. And the other thing that would have been very difficult to have achieved was, and measured on the inside of the box, was the curve. So by removing these, and again carefully, we were able to use the patterns over again. And you see these little marks. We're tight here. We needed to add 1/8 of an inch here. We were tight here. We needed to add 1/8 of an inch here, and we were tight here to make it fit nice and tight inside the box. So we went to a great deal of care to give you soundproofing that would pass show quality muster. We also, by maintaining these patterns, can provide you with the location of where your tag went. That's where your hull tag went inside the engine box. So very important. We've kept them. Gosh, we finished the box a month ago, I suppose, and we've kept the patterns that long because, well, your boat's not out the door yet. So I wanted to go over that with you and let you see firsthand. Probably something we should have documented during the process, especially since this was very time-consuming, and the S being looking more like a $ sign than an S. All right, thank you very much, Bill. Talk to you later.